Welcome to the Aaron Roussos podcast. This is part three of the anxiety uninstalling program. This is part of the open commas, heal the world, close commas. That's right, heal the world program. It was a song that inspired me, that used to make me weep with great sadness and possibilities when I actually first healed myself. It was like the victory dance, was heal the world, Michael Jackson, and it would make me cry, knowing the amount of suffering and death that I had just uncovered and would not be causing or would be preventing. I didn't think that the next 6 years would proceed and that no one would believe it or would even want to try it, because there is a few things involved that we're addicted to. That's right, we're addicted. Yeah, I'm looking at a picture now of a couple of people from a business and they're fat. They're fat. We're all addicted to food. Every single human being. We have an organisation in the world called the Heart Foundation, or here in Australia anyway, Heart Foundation. You know, they say that heart disease is one of the biggest killers in the world. But guess what? I'm going to fucking sum it up in one little sentence. No one said you had to eat fucking breakfast, lunch and dinner. If you think about it seriously, right? We're natural beings. We're out there. Say we didn't have all this world going on and we were just cavemen. We'd eat whenever we could get food. We'd eat whenever we could think. There's lots of stuff that we could actually uncover from this area, but we choose not to. So therefore, we can't see that we're addicted to food. Everyone, every single one of us is addicted to food. All of us are overeating. Oh, do you remember being marketed to? Do you remember, the Meat Livestock Australia coming to you, eat more meat, eat more protein, eat more this. So instead of going from, eating a dinner that's got, 20% protein, meat in it, which is a great, 80-20 mix, we're eating these huge, big things. Our meals have got bigger. Everything's been upsized. Everything's been larger. And then, as a race, we are that stupid that we have to have a heart disease organisation to work out what's causing heart disease. Get fucked. Get fucked. The reason why humanity, people like me and you, haven't worked it out is because we've entrusted someone else to do that work. Yeah, there's specialty people, specialists in that area dealing with that. So we wait for the news, we wait for the outcomes, we wait for the things that people have been working on this thing all their life. We wait for them to come to us. And what do they come to us with? We have the Heart Foundation, everybody eat from the pyramid. Get fucked. It's the biggest fallacy getting around. The biggest problem is that humans like you and me don't question enough. We trust. And then we get situations like this where it's gone too far. You try and rein in a big juggernaut like this, Heart Foundation. How many people, how many jobs, how many CEOs, big dollars, big jobs, big funding. Wow. I think I've told this story before about when I went to cystic fibrosis and I said, look, I've mapped it, I've done it, I think the best way to get rid of cystic fibrosis is to put it in the screening register. So, when you're born, you get screened for certain major serious diseases and stuff. Well, put that on there. Pay some money. Pay the medical industry money to put that in there. And you screen for the mother and the father and you make sure they don't have a child and has cystic fibrosis. And you'll be able to breed it out of captivity. Breathe it out of all our societies eventually. And that's an easy fix. So when I presented that to a CEO, it's only a state CEO of Cystic Fibrosis Australia, would you believe that they said, the boys, the scientists, all these fancy names and shit, just got $40 million in funding Do you think that, they would only have to apply some of that money to the screening process and it'd be gone within 10 years? Do we do that? No. Do we find a permanent solution for cystic fibrosis to make sure that no one suffers again on the earth of this disgusting, debilitating disease? No, that's right. We reject the guy that's going to cure it because we can't tell a whole lot of scientists that have been working on it for their whole lives and that have been failing their whole lives. Imagine being one of those scientists. Imagine going, I spent my whole life working on cystic fibrosis and I never came up with anything. What a waste of a life. What a waste of a career. What a waste. Anyone that thinks that that's okay, right, is fooling themselves. It's like trying to say, oh, I'm being responsible, but I'm not being accountable. And yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy to think. It's like cancer, these people spent their whole life failing. I couldn't do that. Personally, myself, being a human being on earth, if I spent my whole life in failure, geez, imagine their confidence. They'd be down on confidence. They'd be hard. They'd be quiet when out in public and stuff because they've never achieved anything in life. They're the biggest losers. And yet, in society, they're the ones getting the most money. And they're being patted on the back and they come up with something that, come on. Are you that stupid that you buy into all this shit? I know you've never spent any time on it because you've trusted the people that are experts. People that you love have told you, oh, yeah, I trust this, I do that. So, I'm going to go. So basically we have a very interesting scenario where now everything's a broken system throughout all of humanity. And that's okay. Because we're just going to keep cutting and pasting on top of failure, on top of that, on top of that, on top of that, on top of that. So this is the anxiety uninstalling program. This is the truth. This is where you get to do some stuff, get to realize some stuff, and you get to heal yourself. Now, can you imagine the confidence and the empowerment you're going to get when you cure yourself? You heal your own body. You do it, not me. I'm just showing you what works. What works every fucking time without failure, because I've wedged it between laws of the universe like gravity, which means if it doesn't work, gravity will fail. Yeah, so all the planes, everything's going to fucking drop out of the sky. So when you're doing this program and you're doing the 14 days, if after 4 days you see a plane fall out of the sky, you go, oh, bugger. Looks like it's not going to work for me. That's the only way that it won't work for you. What are the causes of anxiety disorders? Now, what are the causes of any disease? All illness in the body is some form of inflammation. It's not meant to be there. It doesn't fit. All forms of anxiety, the disorder that we get that does this crazy stuff, because anxiety is part of life, yeah? It's a natural part of life. But when it gets wound on and stuck on full ball, it's not nice. It's not nice to deal with. And you know it. You're going through it, you're feeling it, you're touching it, and bingo. But what's happened is, as part of this, it's been coined a mental illness. It's got fucking nothing to do with mental. It's got nothing to do with it. If anything, by calling it a mental illness has put a stigma on it, which is mental, which is mean you're thinking about it as mental, which means it's causing your brain the mental ability to process things normally is not working as well. So it's also up. It's on the stack that's against you. You've either got a stack for you or a stack against you. And at the moment, the stack against you is piled up so high that you don't think that you can cure your own anxiety. So what is an anxiety disorder? That's probably the most interesting question. What does it do? We know that it fires chemicals in the wrong order that mimic serious health conditions. We know that certain things in the body that go on, that fight and flight chemicals, that they might flood, they might release, they might not fire at all. Oh, hang on a minute. What's going on here? I'm talking about chemicals a lot, aren't I? So we have this most beautiful chemical system within our body, like a synapse. You know, when you see a thermograph and you see the brain lighting up, that's electrical. That sends a message. It's a messenger. Very, very quick messenger too. Come on, Malacca. And, sorry, I just called the car in a car Malacca. I'm driving around. And so, basically, this chemical problem, it's like our chemical disbursement stations in the body that all normally work really great have gone dysfunctional. They've gone haywire. They're doing things they shouldn't. They're doing things that are not, it's a misfire. It's a mispattern. There's no formal structure to anything that's happening or anything that you can sort of find a trigger from. It's like the system is off. So your anxiety disorder is a chemical illness because there's a lot of chemical processes in the body, a lot of them, starting with your DNA. Your DNA is, each strand is 3 billion chemicals strong, overlapping each other with a telomere on the end. So everything's chemical, and so your chemical system within you is gone haywire. How did it get to like that? Well, there's many ways that you can mess with the chemicals. You know, if your body was this bloody little disbursement station, then your chemicals, and some of these chemicals, like if there's 3 billion chemicals in a DNA strand, you can see how small and how minuscule and how the smallest of chemicals can make the biggest of differences within our system. You can see that. And so if that system's out of control and it's really not working as it should be, and it's causing all these other problems, then it's easy to see that the chemicals are the biggest problem here. So what's causing chemicals? So mentally, when you think of certain stuff, when you're traumatized, when you look at negative things, it has an impact on you. Trauma itself is like trauma usually, the reason why trauma is because it's a switch. We see something that our primitive brains are not ready for, or it's really made an impact on us and hit us really hard, and then that switch goes on. And then the trauma ruins different parts of your life and affects you in certain ways, and you can't turn it off because the switch is unattainable. And so this is one of the biggest problems unless you are trained, and not even psychologists or psychiatrists have the ability to take that switch off. In fact, they have never been able to take the switch off. So therefore, that's part of the reason why I've prophesized that the psychiatrist and psychologist down the track within 40 years will be an obsolete profession. So they too have no relevance. It's just like someone's created a specialty out of them, that is talk therapy and some medications that are infecting the brain and chemicals and stuff. And so guess what we have there? We have a system that basically, imagine being a psychiatrist or psychologist and people come and see you all day and you never fix them. You never ever once fix them. That's how irrelevant they are. And you might think it's helping and treatment and management and whatever. Yeah, that's good. If it helps you, fine. I'm just saying they are absolutely fucking totally useless. And you're talking to someone who's been to over 25 of them, spent many a session, many a time. I've gone missing 5 times and not one of them has followed up, so I could have killed myself. And not one psychologist or psychiatrist has ever followed up and fucking given a shit or come around to fucking knock on my door and say, I care about you, because they're the highest paid profession, getting over $200 an hour. And guess what? They don't give a fuck about you. Unless they're related to you, a psychiatrist, psychologist, they don't give a fuck about you. Do you not see? They can't heal your disease. They can't flick off the switch of trauma. They don't give a fuck if you don't turn up the next day. They're only worried about their money. It's a business. It's another business. So there you go. There's another profession. So the mental side of it, the mental picture, is if you start thinking and looking at your thoughts and your picture of what you see as being frequencies, okay? Different frequencies do different things, and certain frequencies, certain things can't live in that frequency. So when you think of something, it impresses. When you say something, it's a frequency in the air. And that needs to be front of mind when you're going on. You can't wake up and go, I am sick. You wake up and say, I am well. Because you remember, when you're doing also manifesting, you're doing in present tense. We're not saying what we'd like, we're saying how we are. And then the universe energetically matches that frequency and gives us more of that. Can you see what I'm doing here? Can you see the difference between the two? Can you see that, say, someone like a hypochondriac will get every single disease that they've been worried about getting because it's the universe conspiring to give you what you want? Because everything's in cooperation. When you're not here on Earth, right? So on Earth, we've got duality. So that means that yin and yang, we've got ultimately choices that we make that lead us to where we go. But over there in the spirit world, there's no duality. There's only cooperation. So everyone just wants you to win. Everyone just wants you to win. So whatever's going on mentally, you think everyone's against you. You have got a whole entourage, a whole team of so many thousands of billions of trillions of fucking souls that want you to fucking win here. Do you understand that? When you're here, when you're alive when you're in a body on a planet, the only planet that has free choice in the universe, right? Free choice means you get to decide. You have a choice, yin and yang. You can make decisions, and as you make decisions, they go to different places. They can go to great places, they can go to shit places, but ultimately your choices decide on where they go. But when you're not here, there's only one other place. You can't get trapped. There's no trapped souls. There's no all that shit that you've ever heard about spirits getting trapped and lost and all the shit. It's no such fucking thing. There's systems, right? And there's one thing called perpetual motion, and perpetual motion crosses over the veil. So therefore, we're all part of a system that basically we just get back on. 3-day transition in and out of the meat suit, and no one gets stuck. So the whole thing that you've been fed, you've been fed all these lies, and that has based your reality, and your reality's off. And because of it, you think you're sick of something that can't be cured. But I'm here to tell you that not only can it be cured, but when you do the program, you're going to come out on the other side and this is a fascinating thing, when you get sick now and you go to the doctor and he clamps down on some medication on some of the symptoms, and those symptoms then, with time, they surpass, the inflammation goes down, and that's the way we heal now. With this stuff that's addressing the core problems, you are going to heal, but you're not going to get back to the way you were. You're going to get back to better. You are going to be a new form of human being, a better version of what is currently the average on earth. Like me. It's going to be hard to keep it up, because when you come out on the other side like I did, it's like limitless. You feel like you are, your cognitive function, your energy levels, your calmness, your balancedness, everything's just really cool. But the world doesn't work like that. It's a little bit slower. So you need to slow yourself back down again. And also you got to remember, you're being privy to a whole lot of truth that not many people know. So it's not the general collective. So at the moment, knowledge, specialist knowledge is known by a few. Common knowledge is known by everyone. So this is really specialist knowledge. And so it's not known by everyone yet. So you need to keep that in mind as well when you're going through it, because no one's going to understand you. And you're going to feel like, oh, I feel great. I've never felt so good. This is the best life ever. I'm so glad this has, come to light. I have restored my faith in humanity. Everything's just great again. And then you go to tell someone and they don't understand it because they're still stuck in that negative place. So the causes of your anxiety disorder are many, and they cross over. There could be a limitless number of things. They all affect our physical, they affect our mental, and there's some things that affects our soul as well. And so all of those things are all unnatural for a natural system. Okay, that's why they're affecting our chemicals. So we have a situation where some of the things that we do as part of our life every day has caused our anxiety. And that's why, similar with cancer, there's some causes of cancer that we do every day as part of our life. And there might be half a dozen things that we're actually addicted to. That's right. We're addicted to the things that are adding to our disease, because the causes of anxiety disorders are a multiple number of things. So it might be electromagnetic fields, it might be phones, it might be chemicals in dishwashing, fluoride in toothpaste, all these things that aren't natural that we expose ourselves to. And so what happens is all of these non-natural things, if you get all 20 of them at a certain level that has affected you, you still can't get an anxiety disorder. But if your body, your disposition, your health, your homeostasis point, if homeostasis is a point where the body is at complete optimum as far as getting everything from water, nutrients, and sunlight, then the lessened state of homeostasis with, say you were running at 50%, our DNA is also not what was given to us originally, so that's also not doing its job. And then you get these 20 unnatural things that come. That is the formula for getting an anxiety disorder. It's a combination. That's why the medical world is having no luck in finding any of this out, because it has always dealt with the physical, right? With body, mind, and spirit. And it doesn't understand the spirit. It doesn't even know how it fits into physics or the medical fraternity, but it does. It goes right through it. The patterning, every single bit of it is part of it. So therefore, we've always, in our 2,000 years so far, we've only been addressing maybe 50% of the human being to heal and work with it. And that's why we've got what we call incurable diseases. If we didn't have that and we had 100%, then we wouldn't even have a word that we could call incurable disease. Incurable disease is something that a human has created because of the limits that the human being has put on them. So basically, the causes of your anxiety disorder is a multidimensional answer, and it's quite simple. There's lots of things that are unnatural that mainly with anxiety disorders deal with the chemicals within the system, affecting mainly the chemicals. So basically, the chemicals, 20, 25, 30 unnatural things that are all been wearing. You might even just have one little part of it. One of those 20 things might just be, at one stage, you might have been lied to, right? Mentally, what do you think happens when you're lied to and something doesn't make sense in your brain? It fragments your reality. That strains on the system, and that strains on the chemicals. Now, that's one tiny little thing, and would not even have a effect on anything within the human, and would normally rectify itself and go back once you were brought, come through the process or process the truth on the other side. And even if you haven't, it won't make an effect. But then when you've got 20 of those things, all at varying levels, it still doesn't give you anxiety disorders. But if then your own state of health, your own body's disposition, where you're at, then combined with that, even your epigenetics, you've got 600 genes and they can't be changed, but they can be turned on and off. And they're hereditary, and there's other things involved that you have no idea about. But that's not taken into consideration by anyone in the medical field. The epigenetics and the genetic inheritance, none of that's taken into consideration, because it would be too much of a job for a doctor to go into, and it's called a doctor's practice, so they're just going to keep practicing on us. So we have ourselves a certain state the body can get in, and at different states, I guess, let's look at it. I'll give you an example of this one little thing. Generally, in Australia, a body's disposition, like most male men in Australia, at 5 o'clock, finish work and have a beer. Say 75%, not us hospitality workers. We just drink whenever we want, and we work 7 days a week. But if you're a general man in Australia, so our state of homeostasis for the general man is not great. We don't, in Australia, we don't go and see doctors until we have to. We don't do any preventative, and we don't fix anything with a human body, especially when it's male in Australia, until it's broken. So the state of homeostasis is already low. So then we're talking about all these things that we can do to ourselves that were called cancers, all right, for instance. And like I was saying with anxiety being the chemical version, the unnatural for the natural and all the rest of it. Now, with a certain environment, chemicals, unnatural stuff, across, say 28 things for a male man, collectively in Australia, because of that male man's habits, being drinking, knocking off and having a beer, the diagnosis, which is, say, prostate cancer for this particular case, means that with all those unnatural things, the unnatural man, we can actually map and work out what cancer you'd get, where you'd get it, and how aggressive it would be. Everything can be worked out. You just don't know how yet. And so we have this combination. See, it's that push-pull energy. Some of it is what we do, and some of it is what state we're in. There's a mathematical formula on what disease you get and how bad, and that's why there's variations within the disease. Okay? So with your anxiety disorder, we want to basically align ourselves naturally. Does that make sense? We want to naturally align ourselves. That way, we're trying to change so much within the biology, the physiology, that it doesn't recognize itself. So therefore, if anxiety disorder was happy in this body, the way it was with the chemicals and the disposition and that, we're going to change the body. And the best way to change the body is with food, and design this beautiful cell regenerative, like the highest cell regenerative diet, takes all the energy off the person to apply that energy to other healing. It's got certain fruits and vegetables to extract toxins out. It's got certain things to put nutrients in. It's got them at certain times of the day. It's got them accumulating over the 14 days to get to a point of homeostasis that's never been reached in your human body before. All these things. Now, if that's never been reached in your body before, you can't ever tell me what the outcome could possibly be. You can't even guess, because you have no idea. So anybody, even any human, doing this diet, boosting their immune system to that, they've never had their body in this state before. No one. No one ever. Not even all these fucking biohacking geniuses that are fucking spending millions of dollars on all this bullshit. Right? Going, oh, I'm going to live forever. I've spent $2 million on this and all the rest of it. They still haven't worked with a natural system. What fuckheads. What a waste of money. Right? They still haven't worked with a natural system. Right? All of those guys that are biohacking, get your system to a clean, chemical-free, naturally aligned system, 8 to 10 times the nutrients. Boost your system and then see what... They can't even tell you what it does, because they're all just surface dwellers. They're all of those guys are doing it for money. Do you see? They're doing it for money. They're biohacking for money. This guy does it for money. This other guy does it for fame. They all do it so that people listen to them. They don't realize that they're misinforming a whole humanity, a whole earth full of people. They're misinforming us with their shit, but they feel so fucking supremely confident in their brains that they know what they're talking about, but they're full of shit. So how do you, as a consumer at home, know what's full of shit and what's not? What's going to be outdated eventually and what's not? How do you know? Well, you can work out, firstly, where the stuff is naturally aligned. Yeah, so natural for a natural body. But also, I don't know if you've ever heard about a kinesiologist. They can energy test. They can put food on your shoulder and your body will tell them whether it's going to be well accepted or whether it's going to have an allergic reaction or not. So you've got this, you've got your intuition versus ego, so you can actually test it yourself. And also, I guess the greatest test of, I think is working out the motivation. What's this guy's motivation for making this and trying to sell me his supplements for him to live as long as possible? There's money. There's money involved, okay? So when there's money involved, you track it. You always track it. And what do you got? What do you got with this money? Talk to me. What are you thinking? Money, 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 money. He's got this, he's got that, and now he's made a living out of that, out of this one little part of it that is not it. And there's lots of them. I feel sorry for you. It's a minefield out there. Right? I'm about to present something to you. It's going to cost no more money than your average life to live. It's all free. And you permanently heal yourself of something the rest of the world says incurable. But you want to believe them. There's a fucking problem right there. So this is episode 3. This is part of the problem.